Thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tab. Glad you made it today. Today I wanted to talk to you about when you're getting ready to file that claim, whether it's the first claim or you're filing for an increase or you're filing that appeal. Stop. Take a minute and make sure that you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's and you're providing all of the necessary evidence so that way your claim can get approved, right? Doesn't matter how fast you file something, it matters the quality, right? So with that, I want to go ahead and dive into it here. So please hit that thumbs up for me. Get this information out to more of us. That's how we do it, right? The thumbs up, subscriptions, those types of things help to generate a wider awareness within our brother and sister network, right? Getting the information out there is very important. So let's dive into it. What you need to do when you're getting ready to file your claim, I'm looking at kind of two different buckets here. One bucket is your appeal. So that's one option. Your other option is filing your original claim for the first time, or let's say that you're outside of the appeal time frame. So it's been over a year, it's been a couple years or what have you, and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I am going to file again for that claim that I was denied on, or I'm going to file again for that claim in which I was rated lower, but I think I should be higher. So you're asking for an increase. So it's kind of two different buckets. And so the first bucket is really that initial claim, or you're filing for something outside of that appeal process. What I highly suggest you do is first file that intent to file. The intent to file will preserve the effective date for you, giving you the ability to what we call develop your claim. You want to make absolutely sure that you are giving the VA everything that they need to rule in your favor. Don't take any shortcuts. Don't, cut the corner. You need to make sure that you're giving them everything they need in a clear and concise way to where they can make that decision easily for you and appropriately for you. So when you're going to your doctor, getting diagnosed for your condition, and you're having all of that stuff taken care of, it might be a good idea to maybe take a glance at the schedule of ratings. Take a glance at that schedule of ratings, find your condition with the VA in that schedule of ratings that they have, and then you'll be able to see what specific condition requirements there are with regard to your signs and symptoms and durations and so forth for that specific condition. And it will tell you what your rating should be. Read through those, make sure you're honest with yourself, and you will know what your rating should be. Because if you meet X, Y, and Z, then that's the rating you should get. Now, the important part is articulating that with your doctor. It'd be nice to get that information into your medical file. Now, you have one more step that you could do if you would like, which is pull off a DBQ, disability questionnaire, from the VA's website. It's right there. Pull that off, give that to your doctor, and let them fill it out. Ideally, you will be there with them, explaining to them your signs, symptoms, duration, all that good stuff, so they could fill out that DBQ for you appropriately. Now, a lot of doctors don't have the time to do that in that moment. So what I suggest doing is, look, you're the patient. You know you better than anybody. So in conjunction with the information you find in that schedule of ratings and the questions being asked on the DBQ, you could write down your answers on a piece of paper. Question 3, here's my answer. If you were to ask me, doctor, here's what I would say. This is how I feel about this, and this is the signs, symptoms, durations that I have. And write all that down and give that to the doctor with the DBQ form so they can complete it at their leisure. Usually doctors will take a week or two to complete that and then get it back to you. If you need a Nexus letter because you're trying to tie your condition back to your time in service, then that would be the appropriate time to ask them for that Nexus letter as well. So remember that there's three things, mostly three things. There's always caveats and little slivers off of everything. But the main pillars of a claim is you have to have active duty time, you have to have a diagnosed condition, and you need to somehow show that that condition either manifested during your time in service, like migraine headaches or heartburn or what have you, GERD. Show that it manifested during your time in service. Show that it is a result of your time in service, or that a prior condition was aggravated by your service. Those types of things, right? So you need to show that. If you're lacking that evidence in your medical files, your service treatment records from your military service, if you're lacking that evidence showing that it manifested or as a result of or whatever during your time in service, then you need to create that evidence by getting a Nexus letter from your doctor and potentially buddy statements and so forth. So buddy statements are essentially people that you've served with or people that knew you during your time in service who can attest to seeing you suffer from whatever condition you're filing for. So if it's GERD, yeah, I saw that guy eat, bottles of Tums, or if it's migraine headaches, yeah, he used to take Motrin from the medic or the corpsman, or I'd always see him with Motrin and he'd be laying in the corner humming to himself because he had this horrible headache, right? So somebody that can attest to seeing, witnessing, knowing that you had some sort of a condition. So with those things, you're able to then paint the picture for the VA. Yes, I have active duty time. Yes, I have a diagnosed condition. Yes, I'm proving to you that it manifested or as a result of my time in service. Therefore, they should be approving your claim. Now, the big part is, what should they approve it at? This is where the schedule of ratings comes into play. With the schedule of ratings, you should know what rating you should get because, again, you're the patient. You know how severe your circumstance is. So when you find your condition in the schedule of ratings and you read the lines next to it for whatever rating percentage, 50% you have to meet these qualifiers, 30% you need to meet these qualifiers, and so forth. Once you find the one that you meet, then you know that's what you should have. Make sure it's articulated with your doctor and be prepared for your CNP exam. CNP is compensation and pension. It's an exam that's done by either A, the VA, or B, a contracted provider, a medical provider, who will essentially fill out a DBQ for you for the VA to establish a rating. They need to know how severe it is, your condition. So when you walk into that CNP exam, you need to be able to articulate correctly the signs and symptoms and durations that correlate with the appropriate percentage rating that you can find in the schedule of ratings. Very important. This will allow you to then give the VA the information they need to not only approve your claim, but approve it at the appropriate rating. So that way you don't have to go through the hassle of trying to get a increase and filing for appeals and all that stuff. Do it right the first time, right? So making sure all that information gets in there, and then you're going to wait for your decision to come back. Will the VA still stink it up sometimes? Of course they will, and that's what the appeal process is for. But you want to hedge your bets and try to get everything buckled up or buttoned up or whatever, the best you can, and put your best foot forward when you're filing that claim. On the appeal side, if you received a decision from the VA and that decision was not what you were looking for, you can appeal it. You can appeal ratings that were approved for you in the sense of maybe they rated you a 0%, maybe they rated you a 10 and you think you should be higher. Maybe you read the schedule of ratings and you believe you should be a 30% rating. You can appeal the VA's percentage rating that they granted you. You can appeal that decision and say, you know what, I disagree with the VA and I believe I should be rated at a 30%. And then provide additional evidence on why and get that over. That would be a supplemental. You can also do a higher level review if you believe all of your information was in there, or you could take it to the board. Different options, different video for appeals, but the bottom line is that when you're getting ready to file that appeal, again, stop, take a breath, and go through it and make sure that you are putting all the evidence that you need. You have 1 year to appeal the VA's decision, to maintain your effective date. That's really important to know. Just because they deny you initially and you go to appeal, you don't have to appeal it within 30 days. Take your time. I know everybody gets excited and wants to get this thing done and get the answer back and get it resolved, but don't just knee-jerk reaction. read the information, see what's missing, see what you need to do in order to provide a little additional evidence to get that over to the VA so that way they can rule not only in your favor but at the appropriate rating. So with that, I'll go ahead and cut it here. I really appreciate everybody. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff, and help get the word out there. Because remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.